Hyde Park is where many families go on hikes during the summer, spring, and fall. A place for people to go outside with nature and enjoy the outdoors. But the sinister lies and evils in the park are deep within the roots. The true history behind this park will give you nightmares and make you think twice about revisiting a particular area where a couple built their dream home. In 1969, a police officer was patrolling in the Hyde Park area when something unusual happened to him. While walking, he felt like someone was watching him. As he turned around to look, he saw a woman standing in the bedroom window on the second floor inside an abandoned lodge. The officer goes to investigate the old lodge and proceeds to walk towards the front door. The door slowly opened. As soon as he enters the house, he feels a cold draft, following a loud creaking sound. The cop made his way up the flight of stairs to the second floor. He feels a hand touching his shoulder. He heard a woman's voice crying out in pain. The officer was baffled by the encounter as nobody had lived in the house for decades. Another voice would be heard along with the woman screaming. It sounds like a man yelling, "Hold still." And then suddenly, the yelling comes to a complete stop. He proceeded to make his way to the bedroom, opened the door, and found old furniture, dust, and spiderwebs. The woman was nowhere to be found. That woman in the window was Jemima Howard, the wife of John Howard. Jemima lived with John inside the lodge. She passed away in 1877 after a long battle with breast cancer. Jemima was also known to be the first woman in Toronto to be diagnosed with a medical condition. John said that when the disease ravaged her body, her mental health declined when the doctor overprescribed morphine to help with the pain. But the painkiller can only do so much. Treatments for cancer were non-existent back then, and John didn't know how else to help her. He thinks the drugs prescribed to her may have altered her mental state. He even tried to check her in a psychiatric hospital at 999 Queen Street West. Today, it's known to be a CAMH center for people struggling with addiction. The hospital rejected his request. John felt that he had no choice when handling his wife's situation and didn't know what else to do. He decided to lock her up in the second-story bedroom in the lodge. The room where Jemima was in, the same room the police officer saw her in the window. John hired 2 nurses to care for her needs. In September 1877, Jemima succumbed to her disease and passed away. Many historians believe that the ghost sightings are linked to having a hard life of people suffering from a slow and painful death, and they cannot rest until they find closure and peace. In 1992, a couple and their son went to tour the lodge. As soon as they entered the home, the husband felt like something was watching them. He said he could feel someone walking beside him and following him, but couldn't physically see them there. The family began walking on the Hyde Park main road at the end of the tour. The father turned to the side of him as he felt the feeling again that someone was watching him. The husband saw a human figure in the tall grass behind the house. The figure appeared to look like a man. The husband described the man as wearing all black with a white collar. His eyes were all black and his face was pale. The husband turned back around, held his son's hand tight, and started to speed walk out of the area. Everywhere he turned while walking out, he would see a vivid figure of a man following him. Many people on the Colburn Lodge tour have reported the feeling of someone touching their hand and hearing footsteps walking behind them while nobody is physically present. The Colburn Lodge is known to be one of the most haunted places in downtown Toronto. What would you rather do for $10,000? Stay a night alone in the bedroom where Jemima passed away, or even worse, watch 1 hour content of the FouseyTube YouTube channel?